అసెంబ్లీలో బడ్జెట్ పద్దులపై వరుసగా మూడో రోజు చర్చ మొదలైంది. లైవ్ చూద్దాం.
That the state could achieve a double-digit growth despite the adverse impact of demonetization and high denomination currency notes on economic activities, sir. Sir, I would like to know what could have been the growth in GSDP this year if there had been no demonetization, sir. In other words, what has been the adverse impact of demonetization in the fiscal terms, like the loss of much percentage of GSDP growth in the current year? I would seek specific data on this issue, sir. Sir, higher agriculture growth on account of good rainfall, better industrial production growth in service sectors has been contributed to the GSDP, and rupees 6.54 lakh crore at current prices according to growth of 13.7%. The per capita income is estimated at 1.58 lakhs at current prices this year as against rupees 1.41 lakh in 2015 and 16. Sir. Sir, I would like to compliment the TRS government, particularly the Chief Minister Saab, for this, sir. Sir, however, I am disappointed that this double-digit growth in GSDP this year and the constant increase in growth rate of state economy in the previous 2 years has not contributed to the corresponding high growth in the state budgetary revenues and expenditures. So the figure furnished by the Finance Minister Saab speaks for themselves. Honorable Speaker, sir, the total expenditure had amounted to rupees 62,302 crores in 2014 and 15, as against the budget estimate of rupees 1,638 crores, indicating a shortfall of rupees 38,332 crores, or I would say shortfall of 38%, sir. Sir, in 2015 and 16 financial year, the state total expenditure rose to 97,923 crores as against the budget estimate of rupees 1,15,689 crores, signifying a shortfall again of rupees 17,766 crores or 15%. For these figures, sir, I am not adding the supplementary estimates. I am not adding the supplementary estimates that were presented to the Finance Minister Saab for the 2014 and 15 and 16 financial year, sir. Sir, again in the current financial year, Rajendra Saab has come up with a revised estimate of rupees 1,12,191 crore as against the budget estimate of rupees 1,30,416 crore. This means a shortfall of rupees 18,225 crores or 14%. Sir, the data available on the CAG website shows the total expenditure of the state in the first 9 months of the current year. This is from April to December 2016 is rupees 74,340 crores. This means that the expenditure during January 2017 will be 37,851 crores. Sir. So the Finance Minister Saab has attributed the shortfall in budget expenditure to the shortfall in revenue in 2017 and 18 due to reduction in grants from the central government, apart from the fact that to quote him, the demonetization of high-value currency notes has affected revenue collections. Sir, he pointed out that all these matters are beyond control of the state government. From the day one, when the demonetization was announced, I had pointed out that this would adversely affect the state finances and economy during the last 5 months of the financial year, that is November 2016, March 2017, sir. Sir, I am sure when the financial year draws to a close on 31st March, the Finance Minister Saab would have to figure out the actual expenditure and the government during the fiscal year, and he would also know what is the actual impact of demonetization on state finances. Sir, keeping with his optimism, Rajendra Saab had presented an all-time high budget with estimate expenditure of rupees 1,49,646 crores in the coming financial year 2017-18. He has based his optimism partly on higher transfer of rupees 43,863 crores, sir, from the central government in 2017 and 18 compared to rupees 28,443 crores in the current year. I don't know how the central transfer will be higher by 15,429 crore in the next financial year. This is a question. Sir, at the same time, sir, when the state has experienced a huge shortfall in central transfers, in the last 3 years of 2014, 15, 16, as against the anticipated central transfer of rupees 31,470 crore, the actual release worked out to rupees 15,006 crores in 2014 14 and 15, sir. Similarly, against the budget central transfer of rupees 25,223 crores, the actual release amount to is rupees 21,745 crores, sir. In 2015 and 16, the current year, 2016-17, the revised estimate is rupees 28,231 crore against the budget estimate of 28,512, sir. Sir, in the next financial year, this is 2017 and 18, the Finance Minister Saab assumes a 55% jump in the central transfer compared to 2016 and 17. The central grant in aid of rupees 26,857 crores include grant for special package and additional central assistance of rupees 11,800 crores. I would request Rajendra Saab to enlighten us on the special package from the center. So there have been a huge shortfall in the state-owned tax revenues and non-tax revenues during the last 3 years. The shortfall in central transfer and state-owned taxes and non-tax revenues have been main cause of for the state for not being able to spend the budgetary allocation of various sectors and departments since 2014 and 15. So lesser central transfer and states-owned revenues were responsible for modest revenue surplus of rupees 369 crore in 2014 and 15 and rupees 238 crores in 2015 and 16. So the surplus is likely to be only 199 crores as per revised estimate of 2016 and 17. So the end result of lesser central transfer and state-owned revenues has been escalating fiscal deficit that jumps from 9,410 crores in 2014 and 15 to rupees 18,856 crores in 2015 and 16, sir. And further to rupees 21,893 crores in 2016 and 17, this estimate to soar to rupees 26,096 crores in 2017 and 18, sir. Sir, I was glancing the social economic outlook of 2017 presented by the finance minister with the state budget for 2017 and 18. The outlook presented a data on the gross district domestic product GDP for 2015 and 16 at current prices for all the 31 districts in the state as per GDP estimate. Hyderabad, Rangareddy and Medchal, Malkajgiri districts occupied top 3 position with 1,36,388 crores to rupees 82,359 crores and rupees 47,060 crores respectively, sir. So the top 4 districts, GDDP, Hyderabad, Rangareddy, Medchal, Malkajgiri and Sangareddy constitute about 52% of Telangana GSDP, sir, indicating concentration of economic activities in and around state capital. The remaining 27 districts comprising the Telangana hinterland contribute only 48% of GSDP with their largely agrarian and mining based activities. Sir, if the previous Congress and Telugu Desam government in their erstwhile United Andhra Pradesh had concentrated on strengthening the economic base of all Telangana districts during their rule, though dispersal of industries and services activities, the new state of Telangana would not have been saddled with the loop-sided economic base that has inherited, sir. The Congress and TDP leaders who are making noises must explain why did their regimes neglected Telangana region during their rule, sir. Sir, last year the Telangana government had taken up the reorganization of districts by carving out 21 districts from existing 10 districts. New revenue divisions, mandal, police commissioner, police subdivision, circle office and police stations have been created. Soon after the districts were created, the demonetization of high-value notes spoke as the government plans to take up infrastructure development and construction of integrated office complexes were delayed by a few months. I hope all the district offices in the new districts will become functional in the next financial year, sir. Sir, I would like the Honorable Chief Minister Saab to clarify on a report in a Telugu TV channel recently The central government has not approved the creation of total 31 districts in Telangana state. I don't know how far it is true. But at the, the Union Home Minister had directed the Telangana government to redraw the boundaries of reorganized 31 districts into 20 compact districts. If the state does not comply with the central government order, this may lead to confrontation with the center over the issue. If the state obeys the central lists, this may give up.
అధ్యక్ష, కొన్ని విషయాలు కొన్ని సందర్భాలలో చాలా అవాంఛితంగా కూడా అందరినీ అనను నేను, కొంత అత్యుత్సాహం ఉండే మీడియా లేని ప్రచారాలు కొన్ని చేస్తారు. जिले बनाने का जो पावर है, it is 100% with the states, the discretion of the state. Government of India has just nothing to do with formation of districts. It's a totally false report. Kindly don't go by that. My request would be, it's a totally false thing. Neither the Government of India nor the Ministry of Home has made any effort like that. They did not interfere. It's a totally wrong news.
I thank the Honorable Chief Minister for giving a reply on the matter raised by me, sir. But at the same time, sir, the most important thing is that we need the post to be sanctioned for the new districts. And I hope that the Government of India would sanction the new post for the new districts, because that is very important, sir. The districts would not be able to function without the civil services officers, sir. Sir, it is a positive sign that the Finance Minister Saab presented a tax-free budget for the 4th consecutive time. It is another matter that sometimes the government has resorted to pre- and post-budget hikes in taxes and levies by amending the various tax laws or issuing notifications, sir. Also, the DISCOMs have resorted to power tariff hike, and the TSRTC has also raised the bus fares, which have added to the financial burden of the people. Besides, the demonetization had dealt a body blow to all sections of people. The Finance Minister Saab has indicated that the higher tax revenues target would be achieved by improving tax collections, plugging leakages, expanding the tax base. He also said that efforts would be made to encourage digital transaction and thereby improve tax compliance. I would like to caution the state government to gradually move towards digital and cashless economy instead of rushing through. Large sections of people and business infrastructures are not yet ready for a switch over to digital economies. So unless all the cashless transactions are made free of service charges, no one is going to burn the hole in his pocket by making cashless payments, sir. Sir, at the same time, sir, so Honorable Speaker, sir, the banks are flushed with money, but the ATMs are dry. Nowhere in the city, ATMs, there are hardly, I would say, 1 to 2% ATMs have cash and are working. I request the Honorable Chief Minister Saab to kindly look into this. हैदराबाद शहर में एटीएम्स में कहीं पर भी पैसा नहीं मिल रहा है, ज्यादातर एटीएम्स खाली हैं, सर. तो सवाल यह है कि कितना पैसा हमारी रियासत से गया था पुराने नोटों की शक्ल में, और कितना पैसा हमको मिला. और आज हो सकता है मैं गलत हूं, लेकिन यह बात कही जा रही है कि जितना पैसा था सारा पैसा उत्तर प्रदेश गया था, पंजाब गया था, मणिपुर गया था, उत्तराखंड गया था, वहां इलेक्शंस थे वहां गया था, इसलिए यहां नहीं आया, पता नहीं कहां गया. खैर, जहां भी गया हमको इस बात से कोई सरोकार नहीं है. हम चाहते हैं कि हमारी रियासत में भी हमको बराबर पैसा मिले. आज एटीएम्स में पैसा नहीं है. मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि चीफ मिनिस्टर साहब और हुकूमत इस ताल्लुक से भी गौर करेगी, सर. Sir, the issue of public debts and debt management is crucial for the fiscal health of the state. The 14th Finance Commission has stipulated that fiscal deficit should be brought down to 3% per annum during 2015 and 20. Both in current year 2016 and 17 and then showing year 2017 and 18, the state is allowed to borrow up to 3.5% of GSDP on fulfillment of certain conditions. This is considered necessary to maintain the growth momentum in the state through focus on infrastructure development, sir. So, however, a matter of serious concern is how the soaring borrowings, even as per the FRBM limits and relaxation, may lead to mounting debt burden on the state and its people. Telangana state inherited a debt of rupees 72,415 crore from the United Andhra Pradesh consequent to the bifurcation in June 2014, sir. Sir, this rose to rupees 83,846 crores or 16% of GSDP in 2014 and 15, and rupees 93,115 crores or 16% GSDP in 2015 and 16, sir. So this is expected to rise further to rupees 1,14,814 crores or 17.155% of GSDP at the end of fiscal year 2016 and 17, and to rupees 1,40,523 crores or 18.51% by March 31, 2018, sir. Sir, thus within 4 years, the debt burden of the state is poised to get doubled. This is certainly not beneficial to the fiscal health of the state. Rising debt burden also means higher outgo on the debt servicing, including interest and repayment of principal amount. I would suggest that the state may try to swap the higher interest debt with low interest debt when the banks are flush with funds in wake of demonetization and the interest rates have been particularly low. Sir, while the per capita income of the state at current prices has increased from rupees 1,25,832 in 2014 and 15 and 1,40,683 in 15 and 16 to rupees 1,58,360 during 2016 and 17. The per capita debt have also soared from rupees 20,640 in 2014 and 15 to and rupees 22,757 in 15 and 16 to rupees 27,789 in 2016 and 17. As per capita income, the state will rise in the next next fiscal year. The per capita debt burden would also increase substantially. This does not augur well for the state, sir. Sir, I may point out the state, Telangana state fiscal deficit is within the norms prescribed under the FRBM Act. The Act mandates the fiscal debt shall be brought down to 3% of GSDP. However, the 14th Finance Commission recommended a flexibility of 0.25% above this limit if the debt of GSDP ratio is lesser than or equal to 25% in preceding year. A further relaxation of 0.25% is provided. Simultaneously, in the interest payment are less than or equal to 10% of the revenue received in the preceding year. So, in the current financial year, the state has allowed to borrow to the extent of 0.5% of GSDP over about the 3% limit, as all the conditions laid down in the Finance Commission for such additional borrowing has been fulfilled. Further, in the ensuing year, also the fiscal deficit have been budgeted at 3.48% of GSDP, as the state is likely to fulfill the condition of additional borrowing. The overall debt burden of the state in the last 3 financial years appear to be less compared to other neighboring states, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra. So the outstanding debt was rupees 3.56 crores in Maharashtra, rupees 2.52 crores in Tamil Nadu, rupees 2.1 lakh crore in Karnataka and rupees 1.93 crores in AP in the current financial year of 2016 and 17, sir. So the public debt is estimated to soar at rupees 2.6 lakh crores in AP in 2017-18. As a percentage of GSDP, the debt works out to be 27.6% in 2016 and 17 and 28.11% in AP. In Telangana, however, the outstanding debt would be rupees 1,14,813 crores or I would say 17.55% of GSDP in 2016 and 17 and rupees 1,40,523 crores or 18.51% of GSDP in 2017 and 18. In fact, the TDP government in AP, the Congress government in Karnataka, the BJP Sena government in Maharashtra are pushing their respective state into the trap, debt trap, I would say, sir. So, the Finance Minister Sahab has pointed out that though almost 50% of state population depends on agriculture sector, its contribution to GSDP has been the range of 14.7% to 18.3% in recent years. Sir, this indicates that low level of income for the farming community. The Telangana government has announced farm loans waiver and already 3 installments have been deposited in the account of the farmers. I hope the last installment will be released in the first quarter of the ensuing financial year so that the timely relief is provided to the farmers, sir. So the state had witnessed deficient monsoon during 2014 and 15 and 16, resulting in negative growth of 9.5% and 6.3% agriculture and allied sector. The above normal monsoon during 2016 and 17 has come as a big relief to the farmers, and the state is likely to reap a bumper crop harvest. The Indian Meteorological Department has predicted abnormal hot summer this year, and the pre-monsoon forecast is yet to come, sir. So, however, the indications the country, including Telangana, may face weak monsoon under EI-90 effect this year, and any deficient rainfall may impact the farming sector, sir. So, the government would need to be on the alert to the situation to ensure that even in the case of erratic monsoon, the farming community is not put into distress. Sir, I may recall that here that due to erratic monsoon and insufficient rainfall causing drought condition during 2014 and 15 and 16, there have been cases of farmers suicide in Telangana, sir. According to the National Crime Record Bureau reports on accidental death and suicide in India, 2015, Chapter 2A, suicide in farming sector, a total of 12,602 persons involved in farming sector, farmers, cultivators, and agriculture laborers committed suicide during 2015, sir, accounting to 9.4% of total suicide victims, 1,33,623 in the country, sir. Maharashtra and Karnataka were the top two suicides, and Telangana stood third with 1,400 persons engaged in farming committing suicide during this year, sir. So the agriculture has taken proactive steps to tackle the problems and mitigate the hardship of the farming community. I find that the coverage of farmers under the central government Fasal Bima Yojana is very